us on the MegaCast as they're getting ready tomorrow morning, December 15th at 8 a.m. They'll be delivering 5,000 gifts to Dye Elementary School students in Flint, Michigan, with the gifts totaling more than $54,000 in total. And so we're joined by the three of them now on the MegaCast. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you on. So either you, Cynthia, or either your students, what was the inspiration behind this gift drive that's turned into just a massive drive of over 5,000 gifts?
All right, so our gift drive started about 7-8 years ago. It started when my oldest sister joined the leadership class here at Walled Lake Northern. She then worked with the class and started the gift drive. It then progressed into bigger. We started going to bigger schools throughout Detroit, and then it went to my other sister, and then it just kept going on until this year. Unfortunately, last year we weren't able to do it to COVID. So this year we have actually come back and adopted up in Flint this year.
And so,
and I think,
please.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, the inspiration, I think a lot of this was our kids have always wanted to help those that are less fortunate than them. And leadership, especially in the Walled Lake District, is really reaching out to other people. We've been very fortunate here in Walled Lake, and I think they want to spread that holiday spirit. They want to give to others that they feel can use their resources. And by starting this about 7-8 years ago, it did start out as more of a gift collection. And then, like Jacob said, this is kind of fallen through his family. And they just found that they were doing so much good and making kids and individuals in the community so much happier, and they just felt like they were more engaged. They saw the good giving. They saw the joy that came out of this. And so this is how this just continued to get larger and larger. And the more that they looked at it, they said, maybe we don't want to do just a couple people. Maybe we want to take on an entire school. And we think that we need to spread not only our goodness, but we also need to spread so that everybody in our school can participate in this as well.
We're joined by Walled Lake Northern High School leadership students as well as their teacher Cynthia Starrs, joining us today on the MegaCast. And so these gifts will be delivered ultimately to Dye Elementary School in Flint. What went into the decision ultimately to choose Dye Elementary as the point of delivery for these gifts?
Jacob, do you want to take this?
Every year, once homecoming wraps up, which is about the end of September, beginning of October, we then begin to look for our schools. We go through a process of just first off looking up some elementary schools in Flint, of course, this year. And we then look at many of their what they are needed and everything, and how we feel our school's resources could best fit theirs. And then we narrow down to the top 4 or 5, and then we make a presentation about all the characteristics about these schools. And our 28 students in leadership then decide which we feel our outreach could benefit the best.
We're joined by students Jacob Freese and Caden Chaperone, as well as the Walled Lake Northern High School leadership teacher Cynthia Starrs today on the MegaCast. This toy drive tomorrow at Walled Lake Northern High School will begin at 8 a.m. Well, 7 a.m. is where the timeline will begin, and it'll go all the way until 3 p.m. when students will open their gifts and spend time with the students tomorrow afternoon, 11:30 a.m. until 3 p.m. The media is invited to attend the heartwarming event. They're beginning at 8 a.m. Students and staff will also be available for interviews and quotes. So if you're a local media outlet there in the Flint area or down here in the Detroit area and looking for a great story, that's certainly one that you can travel to Dye Elementary School in Flint or the Walled Lake Northern High School in the earlier processes and talk to them all about. And so let's go through a little bit of the timeline, because your day tomorrow starts at 7 a.m. for this and ends about 3 p.m. Up at Dye Elementary School. Take us through a little bit of the timeline so we understand, get a better understanding of the process that your team is going through to not only obtain these 5,000 gifts, but to ultimately deliver them as well to these students.
So at 7 a.m., what will happen is all of the students will arrive at the school. We also are taking 5 other individuals that have helped us tremendously in the gift wrapping area. So we'll be taking approximately 33 students with us. We'll be leaving about 7 a.m. in the morning, and at 7 a.m., we will be taking the truck with all of the gifts over to Dye Elementary. The gifts are actually right now, they're being taken down to our commons area so that we can load up the truck tonight, because the truck loading tonight will take us a couple hours. About 8 o'clock, we plan on arriving at Dye Elementary. During that time, we will not only unload the entire truck, but we will also be serving the staff a breakfast, which will consist of, some breakfast treats and that. After we get done unloading the truck, we'll actually unload into a room and then also into the gym area, where the kids will need to, my leadership students, will need to make sure that every single gift is accounted for. We do not want to leave anybody out. And we want to make sure that all the gifts made it from our school down to, or up to Dye Elementary. During that time, while they're doing the check-in, we will make sure that all the kids have gifts, that there weren't any new enrollees, that there weren't any students that had actually left the district, whatever it might be. And then during lunchtime, when the kids go to lunch, our leadership students will then play their little secret Santas. They'll be their elves, and they'll start delivering all of these large gifts to students in their classroom. And by doing this, they'll drop them off at their tables. That way, when the students come back, the students will see these large boxes on their tables, and they will then be able to open up all of these boxes and play with them. Usually what we do for the gift wrapping is every student will receive a large box, and inside of that box will be anywhere from 5 to 7 wrapped gifts as well. And these will be off of a wants and needs list. At the beginning of this gift drive, after we choose our school, we usually send out wants and needs list to all of the students so that students can tell us what they are in need of and what they would really like for the holidays, so that we can make sure that we cover all of that.
So, Caden, has this given you a new perspective on what the holiday season is all about the spirit of the season, or just on giving in general across the board?
I think this event has a big impact on me. It makes me realize how much I have, and I shouldn't take it for granted. And, giving back to these kids and the community, it's a great thing. And, it's one of the main reasons I joined the leadership was to help people make their day better, make their life just a little bit better. So it's definitely given me something to look at.
We're joined by 2 students from Walled Lake Northern High School, Jacob Freese and Caden Chaperone, on the megacast, as well as their leadership teacher, Cynthia Starrs, all from Walled Lake Northern High School, as tomorrow morning, beginning at 7 a.m., when a UPS truck will fill gifts, over 5,000 gifts collected for students at Dye Elementary School in Flint, over at Walled Lake Northern High School, all the way until 3 p.m. at the end of their delivery period and their dialogue with students at Dye Elementary School tomorrow. That whole event happening tomorrow through Walled Lake Northern High School as they travel up to Flint to Dye Elementary to deliver these gifts from all the way from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. tomorrow. And so, Cynthia, as the leadership teacher, what is your role in this drive and in this event, helping these students to not only organize this, but also to execute such a big operation that's helping bring some holiday cheer to so many people in our local area?
Yeah, this actually is quite an undertaking for the kids. My role, just as in any other event or any other activity that we've had here, is to basically oversee and to guide, to possibly give some instruction along the way. I've been more of the resource person, where students have, like for this example, is their gift drive. The kids, this is a big undertaking, and they need some guidance on, what to look for in schools, what resources I think are the best. The kids obviously make the final decision. I do not make those final decisions. This is all student-based. I am just the person to be that sounding board, to kind of give them sometimes the devil's advocate, to make them think outside of the box, to give them things to pursue, to think about. And then obviously, just like in any other event, if something goes wrong, I'm there to pick up the pieces really quickly and make sure that the event is a successful one.
And so for those that may be interested in helping out and participating in some way or another, being that this event is tomorrow morning at this point, what are the ways that people in our community that are just hearing about this now can still help out?
So a way they can help out is actually for next year. It's basically this whole event is driven by donations. We ask the community of Walled Lake or anywhere really to donate boxes. If students or families at our school can't donate an actual or sponsor an actual student at Dye Elementary, they're more than welcome to donate extra gifts, which can also help students at Dye Elementary. And so the ways they can help now would be drop off boxes. Next year, we're going to need some more boxes. We used a lot this year with the 500 students. We can already start collecting the extra gifts. Really, just they can drop off boxes, extra gifts, wrapping paper, tape, and everything would be a great help.
And so just a few more minutes with all of you today. What other projects is the leadership group over at Walled Lake Northern High School currently working on? Beyond, of course, this huge undertaking is enough work in and of itself, but there are other projects that are also happening.
Go ahead.
Please, Kate.
So right now we're obviously working on gift drive. Earlier this year, we took on homecoming. That was another big event we do here at Northern. Sometime in March, towards the spring, we do something called Volleyball Marathon, where we get a charity of our student council's choice. It could be for cancer or anything like that. And we just put together a big event. We have volleyball going in the gym. We have a hypnotist sometimes, food, all that stuff. It's just a good night, and it raises money to help some people in need.
We're joined by Jacob Freese, Caden Chaperone, and leadership teacher Cynthia Starrs from Walled Lake Northern High School, joining us today on the MegaCast. And so, Cynthia, if students are interested in joining leadership at Walled Lake Northern High School, what do they need to do in order to get into the group? Is this a club? Is this a class? And what other things does this group work on beyond, of course, this toy drive?
Right. It's actually a class. It's a 1 hour that we have during the school day. Leadership is kind of a part of student council. Everyone is involved, or actually, let's put it this way: student council is available to everybody in the entire district or in the entire school. However, to get into leadership, it actually is a process. To get into leadership, these students had to not only go through interviews with the previous leadership students, but they also need teacher recommendations. We also take a look at their grades. We take a look at their involvement in other activities throughout the school. This isn't something that someone can just decide to sign up for and they're automatically in the class. There's actually a process. We usually have somewhere between 23 and 25 students per class or per leadership class. This year we did happen to go up to 28. We did go a little bit more than what we normally do. But this class is more than just the gift drive. This class is really all about making our school more inclusive. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity not only to be heard, but also to speak. And, there's another event that we'll do in May. We'll do a mock car crash. And this mock car crash will be based with just my sophomores. They'll be putting this together. And this is on drinking and driving and the horrific events that kind of circumvent that area. Like I said, these students are amazing students. It's incredible what they can do. And I really hope that in my position that I've empowered them to give them and for them to see how amazing they are and how their actions can really impact others.
Well, Cynthia, we appreciate your time as well as yours, Jacob and Caden. Just another couple minutes before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that any of you would like to say before we let you go today?
Not only is gift drive and all the events we do just leadership, it involves the whole school. Like after we got these wants and needs list, we then opened them out at all lunches for all students to sponsor the other students from Dye. And so gift drive was, the behind the scenes, but it was really a school-wide event. So it's not just leadership, it's more so Walled Lake Northern who sponsored Dye Elementary in Flint.
We can learn more information about everywhere. Sorry, is there anything else that Caden, you or Cynthia would like to say?
I think this is, like I said, I think this is important that people understand that this isn't the leadership class that does this. This is the entire Walled Lake Northern student population and also the staff, because this year they also decided to take on the staff members as well, because we know that schools are struggling. So even our staff members took on other staff members and purchased them gifts, for their classrooms and so forth. Like I said, it's nice to, say that leadership is behind it, but really when it comes right down to it, like Jacob said, this is the entire student body. This is the entire Walled Lake Northern nation, is what we like to call it.
And they're doing great work. And again, that toy delivery drive tomorrow begins at 8 a.m. at Walled Lake Northern High School and will conclude at 3 p.m. from 11:30 to 3 p.m. as Dye Elementary School students in Flint will open their gifts and spend time with Walled Lake Northern students who have delivered them to their school tomorrow afternoon on Wednesday, December 15th. We thank you all for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
You as well.